Welcome to the Unicorn Circuit, your weekly dose of car news, legal conundrums, fanking. This week we've got a crap bike.
Yes.
Plus, we answer the question that you all wanted to know, and the question is...
what's the conspiracy this week?
No.
No, it is a big one though.
Is
Biggest lid-blowing one ever. Like, blows your foil hat so far off your head, it gets attached to the moon, and that's why the moon is the colour it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
But no, that's not the big question we're answering.
We're talking about money. GTR. Everybody's like, how much did it cost? So we are going to go through that. We're actually going to jump through it.
We're going to go there.
Now, Martin, here's a little game that people on the internet play. And
I know what you're about to say. Yep, go.
What am I going to say?
I just swept them away.
What?
Breadcrumbs. Is that what you like, breadcrumbing?
I don't know what that is, Martin.
Oh. Okay, what do they do on the
We're
internet?
going to play a little game where we swap phones and you legitimately have to read the last message that person got on their phone.
Yeah, cool.
Can't change it, can't edit it, must be honest.
Sure.
So, I'll unlock mine.
Yep.
Leave out any personal details if it's something too personal.
Yep.
There's my most recent message. Give me yours.
There's mine.
All right, I'll read this out. This one came from me. It says, let's shoot a unicorn circuit. I'm hungry. Don't make your conspiracy section too long. Do you want to get a snack pack?
Oh, you're going to be disappointed. But the snack pack sounds freaking amazing. All right, here we go. Hi, Marty Car Mods. It's Brett Harrison from Paul Wakeling Automotive. Are you still interested in selling your Subaru XV? If so, click the link and we'll reach out.
You shouldn't be saying that.
Click the link.
No, don't
click
be
the
doing
link.
that.
What do you mean selling a Subaru XV? Are you hiding a secret? Do you have a secret Subaru that you don't keep here that I don't know about? That's for off-roading. You do love off-roading. Actually, that makes complete sense because you bounce back between Euro, Subaru constantly, like a ping-pong ball, like a pinball.
A pinball. Can you imagine if I secretly had a Subaru all this time?
This makes total sense.
And the GTR was actually yours.
And WRX love child.
Yeah.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a Subaru XV.
Then why'd you get that message?
Anyway,
that's called breadcrumbing.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
Isn't breadcrumbing when you leave dots so you know where to get your way out?
Oh yeah, that's that thing.
Isn't that what it's called?
I don't know.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
It's I think it's an Apple thing. It leaves little dots so you know where to go.
Right.
I went for a motorbike ride in the state forest once. My motorbike exploded.
Is that the time your motorbike went off the cliff?
No.
Oh.
No, this
You've had a lot of adventures in forests and motorbikes.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a motorbike, you're going to have adventures. You know it. Anyway, my motorbike blew up, and I was there with two friends, and back then, the way that we'd work out which way we came from is anytime there was an intersection, we would do a donut in the dirt and then do a skid through the donut so you could see the direction of where we came from because you didn't keep maps or anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my motorbike exploded at XR280 and my friend said, I guess we'll go find some tow roads and we'll be back in a little bit. Then they didn't come back and I actually started going, as the sun was going down, I was like, I actually need to make a shelter like they do on telly.
Really? Were you excited? That must have been so exciting.
No, I was actually scared.
Oh, were you?
No, because there's no phones back then. I didn't have any food. I get hungry all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually started looking around and going, where am I going to sleep tonight? Luckily, as it got dark, they found me. And my mate, he had a two-stroke motorbike with a really hardcore power band, like that. Mm-hmm. He got a tie down from our ute. Mm. He tied the front of it around my motorbike. The other end of it, believe it or not, went to his motorbike. And then he towed me out, which took about 2 hours. But every time I would hit the power band, I'd just get bang, 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 hit with rocks. And why are we talking about that? Oh, GTR budget, that's right. We'll get to that in the news. Anyway, it's good to see you. Hello, Martin.
Oh, hi. Yeah, we've been talking for the last 10 minutes and you sent me a message about a snack pack, which is all I can think about. But what we have to do is talk about the GTR, which we should do in the news section in this highly professional news show. Okay, let's jump into the news now. Before we start, this is your very last chance to get yourself
a GTR poster, autographed, and we'll send it to you anywhere in the world. We have been sending these out. If you've ordered one and you haven't got it yet, we actually had, what happened was, we had some crummy photos come in of someone who had got the poster and like they were squashed, they were run over, they were destroyed, and we were like, maybe we need some more like heavy duty tubes. And so we got some more heavy duty tubes, and while we're waiting for those, that's why it's been a little bit of a wait. But they are going out, we are signing them, and they are going out, so you should have yours soon.
For your postie to smash into pieces or run over.
Yeah.
But still probably possible if they try hard enough.
Probably.
But
so,
yeah, so far so good.
If you've ordered one, we have your order. They are coming. Yeah. And so thank you very much for your patience. They are coming. Martin,
GTR, can we talk about the GTR in general, but also the GTR finale and driving it? And the question that everyone has, aside from the how much did it cost, because that's what everyone wants to know about everything ever.
We will get there.
Because we want to assign a monetary value to them. But anyway, bigger conversation.
How much is our friendship worth, Martin? Do you reckon? No, put $1 on it.
I don't like that. That's a shit question.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Does anyone actually ask anyone that? I don't
No,
think I've ever
because
been
like,
asked
if
that
someone
before.
said to you, I'll give you $1 million and a Subaru, and just don't talk to him again.
Don't be friends anymore.
Yeah.
Hang on, what kind of Subaru is it?
Like a 22B.
Oh, shit.
And $1 million bucks.
Why'd it have to be 22B though?
Would you consider it?
How many 22Bs actually?
And they
More than one?
They destroy all the other 399 of them, so you're the only one in the world that has one.
All right. Let me think about it. I'll tell you later. This is a thing. There was a point in that last video where it went from widescreen to not widescreen.
Yeah.
What?
Where is it? Where's that camera? Can someone try and find the camera that we actually used? It's around somewhere. Go and have a little look for it. Anyway, so that camera was purchased off the eBay, and that was a legit period correct camera. Actually, it was a little bit later. I think it was mid-90s.
Yeah.
And
that's high 8. And high 8 was actually still analog video, I believe. But it was like these tiny tapes that were like a bit smaller than a VHS tape. You get like an adapter. That I remember when I was a kid, you put the videotape in the adapter, and then it had batteries in it, went and stretched the tape out to be VHS size. And that's actually how I learned to edit on a high 8 video camera.
We don't know where it is. One clarification that I should make is that somebody in the comments, they said, is this actually legit footage or has it been affected at all? And I said, no, there is no filter done to it at all. Like that is exactly as it came out of the camera. There is one caveat to that. Down the left-hand side of the screen was a bright, like a fluoro green line, like really, really bright. And looking at it, it was actually quite distracting. So that is how it was captured, but that was an aberration of the technology anyway. So I did mask just that line out. So you've got the image, which is kind of like 4:3, then a little gap, then a green line. I got rid of the green line because it actually just looked like there was something wrong with it.
Sure.
And made the music with some old technology, which was pretty cool. James, who was the camera guy, was very excited about that old technology, and I love that stuff as well, hence why
crazy
we
zoom
put
on
that
those
together.
cameras. They'd be like, I remember back in the day, like 200x zoom. That's huge, by the way, for a zoom. And it's like, just keeps going because of the way the cameras were built and like it was an optical zoom most of the time. So you didn't lose quality if you went up really, really close to something. So back in the day, people would stand there with their handy cams and just zoom in. And you could zoom like someone's eyeball.
Which is funny because traditionally zooming is meant to be used for reframing. It's not like if we talk traditional filmmaking, we're meant to be looking at a frame as it's composed, not actually adjusting. But there was a period of time where stylistically people would go, that's cool, and you would actually use that shot. Also 70s stuff, crash zooms and things like that. Anyway, that was a cool moment. It was great to get the car out on the track. It was very, very
Sounded so good.
It sounds
RBs, I will give
excellent.
it RBs, like there's not many engines that sound as good as them when they're at like full noise.
Yes.
You know, like V8 or V10 F1 cars, V12, whatever. Like I reckon the Toyota V12s sound amazing. RBs sound pretty bloody good at full noise.
Yes.
Like there's just something there, isn't there?
There is actually one other thing that I want to address about that finale video. If you haven't seen it yet, by the way, it's we'll put the link and everything for that down below. As I was driving, well, actually, let's go from the very start. So first of all, we did a walk around, showed all the different mods, talked about those. That probably comes down to the monetary bit that we'll get to in a second. Then we went to GTR Festival, which was great. We had a Mighty Mods tent there, met heaps of people, did selfies, said g'day. We had the 240Z there as well. And then we had a couple of special special guests help us reveal the car. You can look at the video to see who that was. And of course, massive thank you to Andrew Hawkins, who's the one that is the founder of the GTR Festival, which I think they also just had one in New Zealand. I think there's going to be different ones happening around the world.
So there might be one in your country. Check it out.
Which is cool. All things GTR, but certainly the GTR Festival in Sydney is the biggest festival of its kind anywhere in the world, all for GTR people. There was also some S13s drifting and stuff there, Nissan Nuggets. Anyway, then there was our cool little retro moment, and then it was a drive at Sydney Motorsport Park. I do want to give a shout out to Driving Solutions. It was Driving Solutions, wasn't it? They had a track day on that day.
Yeah, they do track days. You can do beginner track days, intermediate, advanced, and also race cars. It's like they do like regular ones where they'll book out the whole place and you can go and do it under the insurances and whatever that they have. And it's a good way actually to go to track. I highly recommend a beginner's one if you haven't before.
Totally. So yeah, check out Driving Solutions. Their website there has all of the different things that are going on for them. Great people. They know what's up. And very kindly, they let us tap onto one of their days so that we could do a couple of laps with the GTR. On the track, it felt amazing. Obviously, the performance was great, but the braking was incredible. I was really, really impressed with the braking. Unlike the braking in the 180SX yesterday, Martin.
Not so good.
Which let's talk about that another time.
Coming out of those brakes.
Anyway, the brakes worked great till they didn't. The car's fine. It's fine. But a bunch of very quick cars going around, and I was just most impressed that I could get on the straight, put it in fourth gear, hit full noise. That's you, Martin. Hit full noise and actually get some epic both performance and noises. But something that you may have seen in the video from my POV camera is the bottom of the Haltech dash is flashing up a yellow bar at the bottom that says overboost. Yeah. So what does the overboost actually mean? Well, I spoke to Scotty about that. The car was not overboosting. It was just that where it was set at its default to 22 or something, the car I think was running at 28 in the end. So we just hadn't adjusted the threshold of the warning. So the car was running great. It was perfect. And spoke to Scotty about that, and he's like, that's all good. So there's no warning there, because I know some people are like, it's the first time you're driving a car, there's a warning, not a warning, just an incorrectly set threshold for the boost.
Yep, that all sounds good. But the big grey elephant in the not room, because they're not in the same room.
Did you just refer to me as a big grey elephant?
Only in some ways, mate.
I can't believe you'd sell me out for $1 million. Though.
I never said I would.
You basically said. You said you'd think about it.
You said you'd think about it. You set up a scenario, and I said I'd think about it.
Yeah, you don't need to think about that.
Oh, what should I just sell? Just get the 22B? Is that what you mean? Man. Don't think about it? Is that what you mean?
It's a bit weird.
People on the internet love to know how much stuff costs. It's because it's an easy thing to go, that turbo is $1,000. It's a benchmark by which you can, do your whole plan of how you're going to modify your car and run your life if you want. And so we thought we'd dive into a bit in this, because we do get asked a lot, particularly with a build like this, which has so much time and effort and parts, and taking it from what it was to what it is there's no way around it, an expensive process.
Hey, Martin,
I'll let you...
Can I tell 2 stories? They're very quick.
Can I finish this little bit? Okay.
So, first of all...
I'm going to let you finish.
No, if you go. Go.
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Have you forgotten? All right. First of all, we know lots of people who are photographers. Generally what they'll do is they'll take a photo of something that looks really awesome. They'll stick it on Instagram, and usually the top comment is, what camera did you take that with?
Oh, yeah.
There's this sense that if you know what the technology was, then you can recreate it. There's no sense of the value of the time or the experience or the eye or the creativity of making the photo. There's definitely a sense of you can recreate it. Now, I think you obviously get workout apps, cooking apps, all these things that go do this process and you'll get this result. That is often not the case, so I just want to preface it by that. And secondary story to that, obviously Marty and I came from the music industry originally, education, recording studios and advertising and stuff like that. We did a piece of music once, which was, I'll just tell you, we were paid $120,000 for it. It took us a day to make it. And I believe I got like $160 and you got like $70.
Well, when you say we were paid, the business we worked for was paid.
Well, that's the bit that I was about to get to.
Oh, sorry.
So we and because there is more involved than just the actually playing the thing and doing the whatever. The value of the music was a 6-figure amount. The actual amount that we got for it was probably enough for a couple of lunches.
Yep.
And a packet of chips.
And any business, if there's no profit, there's no business.
Yeah. And so because of that, if
which
someone
is not how
said,
most people modifying cars is worth pointing out to, right?
Yeah. But the point of the story and why I preface it with this is that if somebody said to a business, how much is that piece of music worth? They'd go, 100 grand. If they said to me, how much is that piece of music worth? I'd go, $120. If they said to him, how much is that piece of music worth? As in, what is it worth to you? He'd go $80 or whatever it was. But it was certainly a sliding scale from there. So the value of things is often illusionary, but in this case, there's some very hard costs that came out. So we want to chat about those.
This is like sometimes when you walk past a car in your museum, and it happened recently. We're at a museum and someone goes, "That car's worth $5 million," and I'm like, to me, it's not.
Yes.
To me, I probably wouldn't even own it because I don't want to pay the storage fees or the maintenance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
But to someone it is, and to someone it's worth 10, and they really want it, and they'll pay. And this is the dynamics of the markets, all that sort of stuff. That we don't really play in that space anyway.
How much did it cost, Martin?
How much did it cost? 6 figures, guys. 6 figures, and it got there so fast, blindingly fast, that I was shocked. A few times over every couple of days, I'd be like, "Dude, I've like done the running total of just parts."
I think we've tipped
crazy.
over $100,000.
Yeah. Some examples of parts?
Which is crazy. How did we get there? And this is what I want to preface it. Number one, sometimes you got mates who are dropping in and they go, "I'll give you a hand with something," and they're not going, "Oh, you have to pay me." We're mates, we're hanging out, we're having dinner. Other people are professionals and they need to charge, and that is their job, and that is fair as well. Marty and I were not paid for our time working on the car other than, no one invoiced anyone. So, and same as you, if you're building a car at home, someone will go, "How much is it worth?" You buy a car for $2,000, you fix it up, sell it for $4,000. You made $2,000, but it might have taken you a year to do it. So how do you put a value on that? And at the same time, we're making videos and filming and editing, and none of that is kind of paid for as well. But if we're looking at the hard cost, and of course, a lot of companies supplied parts as well. So that number is not including a lot of those parts as well,
Correct.
is it?
Yeah, that's just stuff we actually
So if you had to buy all of that, we haven't actually totaled that bit up. But in terms of money out the door on absolutely everything, people, car and parts so far, we are over $100,000.
Some examples, so a pair of guards, over $2,000. A bonnet and a bumper in reasonable condition that still need to be painted, over $5,000. Mirrors was nearly $1,000. Side skirts are over $2,000, and that wasn't even complete. We had to import another part from Japan. Like that stuff is just, the value's just gone up, supply and demand. People want it. They break or crash the GTRs or want to build a GTR, and the parts is just getting so small. And unlike WRXs, which kind of share a heap of parts, even a two-door, which is very rare, shares so many parts with a four-door. If you break part of your interior, you can go down to Wreckers for $50, and that creeps up to, but not the way GTRs have. And that really did surprise me and shock me just how much that stuff's worth. I'm sure anyone who's building a classic would know. And only other point I would make is, what really impresses me sometimes is you see people on the internet or that you meet who've built a car and they built it from scratch. They built it by themselves in their shed over like 5 years.
Yeah. How much is that worth?
Well, how much is it worth? But not only that, how many hours did you put in? And you probably put in thousands of hours. Now, there's some cars I've put hundreds of hours into myself. So Gemini, Brumby are the most recent big ones I can think of. Some are Subarus like Super Grants, big hours. But the second a Turbo Yoda or a tuning fork or, you come along and you chuck in time, my hour count, like I've just doubled or quadrupled my efficiency. And with some of these professionals who are way better at cars than either of us, what's that time worth? In 1 hour, they can achieve what might take me a day. And so that's what we realised with GTR. And we did call in for so much reinforcements and so much help from the beginning, knowing that we'd be up against that. That even though there's probably a good 1,000 hours in that car, not me and him 1,000 hours, but combined there would be. But some of the fabrication work that Ante did, like, just incredible. He would knock stuff up that I'd be still thinking about in a week.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
amazing.
I just did it. I just cut it and made it, and there's your thing. And you're like, that's a fully custom part made from scratch in an hour.
And we made a decision from the very start, which is different to what we'd normally done with Mighty Car Mods. When we saw how bad the car was, we went, this is going to be bigger than what we can do. Super Garage's goal, the reason it exists, the reason we invested so much time and money in that place, is to make a collaborative space where people can come. You can give someone a key and you can go, hey, if you need to stay back and do something, then you can. Sometimes there's people there that would turn up at 10 o'clock at night after doing another job and stay there till 3 or 4 in the morning. We were not there for all of those. Sometimes we were, sometimes we weren't. And because of that, we also weren't going, we're going to hire a couple of camera people and they'll also be with you at 3 o'clock in the morning, because this money that we've kind of put together, the budget, that does not include camera time. It does not include crew that are actually making the thing, and doesn't include the editing time, the music. So the cost of it is absolutely huge, and it brings me back to something we spoke about a few weeks ago, and the model of YouTube and the model of how the monetization works. Let's say that there's 6 videos, and let's say you've spent 120 grand on the car. Obviously, it's going to be more when you add crew and other parts in, but that's on average means that you would need to make $20,000 per video from AdSense. No video is making $20,000 from its AdSense, which means where's the money coming from? And in this case, it's coming from a sponsor, Castrol Edge, who very awesomely supported this project and have done so for a long time, and directly from you guys for getting a poster, because that literally is going in and then going into the car. So that is how it's done. And this is something that we spoke about probably back in 2015, 2016, when people are like, why are there ads on YouTube? Why are there sponsors? The nature of the environment in which we operate is that if you want to do stuff at scale, you need financial support more than just working your day job and putting that in there. If you're doing makeup tutorials, you're doing gaming, you're doing DJ stuff, you're sitting at a piano, you're doing teaching, it's a different story, because to make those videos or to make those series, you don't need a six-figure budget. And we don't normally either, because of the nature of what we're into, which is cheap nuggets. That's what we love. That's what we're super passionate about. But I'm very, very proud of this car. I'm very proud of all the people that came to help. And I'm really thankful, and I noticed it particularly when I was on the track driving it, the amount of hours, the amount of expertise, and the amount of people that made that moment happen. I was very grateful.
What a result too. Like flying down the straight, and I saw that shot where there's like some Porsche or something next to you, and it's just like full noise. That is a dyno on people. Like fourth gear down the straight, that is what you do on the dyno. That means when it goes, you're making 425 kilowatts. You're putting nearly half a megawatt of power through those wheels, all that torque, and you are flying down the track at 200 something.
And there's a Porsche guy just going, oh, this is...
Maybe we'll, you know what I mean? And that's like a, $500,000 car next to it or whatever it is. And it's just like, that's a cool feeling. But the scale just blows up. And it is easy also to let the scale blow up, especially with a car like that. So my lesson from that is you choose your projects carefully in terms of where it's going to go and how much it's going to cost. But still, very, very amazing result. Not bad for a Nissan.
During that process, I remember on a few late nights and a few things, we were kind of like, I don't know if we will ever be able to do anything at this scale again, particularly being that it took 4 years in terms of the time scale as well.
That's as long as Super Garage has been around for, by the way.
The very first video, there's nothing in there.
Correct.
You can see the space is empty. And so we're like, I don't know how we do something again this big. And then you bought that thing.
Yeah, I did. But no, sweet, don't worry. Well,
so now there's another one.
There's that other thing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's carby, so it's a bit easier in that way.
Even legal?
Is that even legal? Is the delightful segment where we explore different laws from around the world. Martin, do you like California?
Yes.
What is going on in California, by the way? I don't quite understand the politics of how it works, but what I understand is there's a bunch of protests, maybe rioting, maybe looting happening, and then California is like, we'll look after it, and then the federal government is like, no, we're sending people in, but then they're sending people in, and that seems to be now exacerbating what's going on over there. I'm thinking of you anyway if you're over there, because that's some... Right. We're definitely getting some scary images of that over here in Australia. It is the main thing that's hitting our news. I can't quite get my head around what is happening in America at the moment, but it feels a little,
not peaceful.
Yeah, not peaceful.
And that's the aim.
Anyway, Martin, we've been to California numerous times.
Yes.
We like it.
Yes.
Martin, do you like frogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin, would you like to attend a frog jumping contest?
Yes.
Good. Martin, would you like to own a frog in a frog jumping contest in California?
Yes.
Good, because you're allowed to do that.
Okay.
Martin, if during the contest, if your frog dies and you'd become quite close to that frog, quite enamoured by it, would you like to keep it?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you like to take him home?
Yeah, and bury
give
him
him a
No.
Illegal. What a brutal law.
What are you talking about?
Brutal.
What my little Kermit? Little Kermit, he's dead.
Martin,
bury him.
It is legal in California to possess as many large frogs as you like. It is also legal to participate in frog jumping contests, which is, I'm sure you're wondering.
Yeah.
However, a state law does pop up. If a frog dies during a frog jumping competition in California, it must be destroyed as soon as possible. It may not be eaten, and it may not be used for any purpose.
Wow.
There you go. Aren't you glad?
Get rid of the duct tape.
Aren't you glad? No. Aren't you glad that you're here with us?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Luckily, next up, we have My Crap Bike. Welcome to My Crap...
Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing, bing.
Bing,
No,
bing,
wait
bing,
on.
bing,
Wait
bing.
on.
No.
It sounds more...
You reckon 4-stroke? Or ning-a-ning-ning, 2-stroke?
No, it's not ga-ding-ding, it's more ga-dong-dong.
Oh, ga-dong-dong, yeah, cool. Anyway, this is My Crap Bike. This is where we talk about all the crap bikes on the internet. Thank you very much for sending through this crap bike. We love to see more crap bikes.
Good on you, Corey. We got Corey. This is a 1987 Honda Rebel 250. Let's hit it.
Hey, Marty and Moog. This is my crap bike. It's a 1987 Honda Rebel 250.
Give you a little start up. 2 pumps of the throttle, half choke.
It looks cool. It's a Honda Civic, pretty much. And what I mean by that is, it's loud. It makes noises, but it doesn't go very fast. So it handles well. So, yeah, it's a Honda Civic. Well, some people ask me if I built it myself, and I didn't so much as built it, more so disassembled it. Rear fender, custom fabricated deletion. Front fender, I mean. Other fender, custom fabricated, deleted. Amazon, cheap, decent looking leather seat. It's got some springs on it. Don't mind the, random relays and taillight wiring that no longer works. And now that there's no rear fender or mudguard, gets, covered in dirt. And right into the intake too. That's really nice to have. I just like the way these side panels kind of patinaed. Custom. I didn't piss on it, but, still looks cool. Little quad lock. Nice for making sure you don't get lost. There's no tack, so you just shift out of first at about 20 miles an hour. That's how that's supposed to recommend. But I've done it, and it feels like it's about to explode if you follow those recommendations all the way out. So it's interesting. Top speed for me has been about 65, 70 downhill with a tailwind. Sounds okay for a 250. It's a Honda. Thanks for watching. This has been My Crap Bike. See you guys next time.
Very good. And nice rustingness. Thank you for referencing the Mark III Volkswagen Golf. Martin, you know how we took accidentally a Golf to a Honda meet? We've got to reverse the polarity of the karmic situation, and we have to take a Honda to a Volkswagen
with
meet.
a Golf R driveline.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I know. Yeah, I know. How good would that be?
We actually have the canvas.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, Martin.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Would you still sell me for $1,000?
What do you mean? No one's ever talked about selling anyway. Next up, we have one of the biggest blow your foil hat all the way to the moon off conspiracy hat cat theories coming up next.
What's the conspiracy about this week, Martin?
This
what
one's
have you got
massive.
for us?
This is the.
Hey, Martin,
this,
I just want to.
This one blew my mind.
Just unlock your phone for me quickly.
This one blew my mind.
Before we start.
Yeah.
Just before we start, unlock. I just want to read your last message again. Let's shoot a unicorn circuit.
Great idea.
I'm hungry.
Always.
So don't make your conspiracy too long. Do you want to get a snack pack?
Except I heard from an undisclosed source that you already had lunch. You had pre-lunch, man. You prematurely lunchalated, and
it was not. No.
So you're not as hungry as
it
you
was a late.
claim to be.
It was a late double savoury breakfast.
Whatever. All right, this one's huge. Here we go. First up, I want to show you something right here. 1985 Toyota Land Cruiser. What do you notice?
It's $25,500.
It's a Ute. 1985 Suzuki Mighty Boy. What do you notice?
I'll call that a Ute.
Yep. 1985 Subaru Brumby. What do you notice?
I'll call that a Brute.
Are you noticing a pattern here? All from 1985
and they're all Utes. They're all expensive.
1985.
Hilux. Yeah, that's expensive.
1985
Whoa!
Nissan 1200. $45,000. And probably one of the most common Utes at the time, 1985 Ford Falcon.
What was happening in 1985, Martin?
Good question. I'm glad you asked because there's a conspiracy about this one.
Is there?
The conspiracy is...
Martin, I'm actually interested this week.
Yeah, I know you're going to love this one. What do you know about CGT? What does it stand for? Can you explain to the people?
CGT is a kind of governmental tax that if you make money on an investment, the government will take a split off it, but you need to be making money. You can't make a loss. So let's say you buy something for $100,000, like an apartment or something, and then it goes up to $200,000. If it's your principal place of residence, you can keep that. But if it was an investment, the $100,000 that you've made will have a CGT applicable to it, which means the government will go, you've made a capital gain, therefore a tax applies and we want some money.
And say you earn 50 grand a year and you're taxed at whatever, 30%, and you make 50 grand off that investment, probably also taxed. There's some things around that, but generally that's the way it works. It's taxed at your marginal rate.
Some people try and get around it though by washing cars. And we learned one the other day, a conspiracy, which is somebody...
Didn't you say don't make this long? Why are you talking?
Because it's really interesting.
Okay, good. No, I find it interesting.
Because there used to be a bit of a loophole when number plates... did not have to pay capital gains tax. So if you had a special number plate that said DAWG, D-A-W-G.
Good plate.
And you were like, hey, that's a cool plate, and you buy it for $100 and then you sell it for $10,000, you get to keep all of that money. It has since been applied that there is now CGT. So what people do is they get the DAWG number plate and they put it on an old Hilux or something that's worth $1,000 and then go, actually the car's worth 10 grand. And when you buy the car, you're actually buying the car just for the number plate because the CGT component, it does not apply to the car, but it does to the plate.
Yeah. Anyway, capital gains tax.
Oh, yeah, good.
When did it get introduced, everybody?
Probably in the 80s, I reckon.
1985. And what did we see?
Hey, Martin, you have my attention.
Yeah, I knew I would. All right. So according to the Australian Government Parliament reports, I actually looked this up properly, initial revenue gains exceeded the Treasury's expectations considerably. Now, they didn't keep records the whole time because I properly tried to do a spreadsheet maths on this to work out how much capital gains tax actually earned the government.
Well done.
And I couldn't really find it. But for 2018 to 19 financial year, the estimated tax on net capital gains was approximately 18.1 billion. Now, I want you to remember this in the structure of Australia, not US, because obviously their budget's massive compared to ours. We've only got 25 million people. But what else was happening in 1985? Utes, people, were pushed upon the Australian public around that same time by manufacturers. There was heaps of them coming out. You just saw what they were. Mighty Boys, Brumbies, Hiluxes, Falcons, Land Cruisers, everything. Utes. Utes were going absolutely bonkers in the 80s. Why?
People were bonking in Utes.
The government was behind it. Why was the government wanting everyone to buy Utes?
Because then they could use the Utes to do jobs and money from it.
Close. They would move house. They would move. And what happens when you move? Unless it's your principal place. Oh, I'm going to buy that thing and I'll get another one. I'll move my stuff over there. I'll move.
Oh, well, every time it sells, CGT is going to be applicable to it.
And if you've got a Ute, you're way more likely to do it. It's like, it's literally social engineering, but it's like, oh, it's car design and Utes are really useful. No, mate.
Oh.
No.
Your car becomes a hammer, your property becomes the nail, and you hit it.
And that's all you got is a hammer, so it becomes a nail. So, way more property movement because people can move so much easier. Before that, they just had sedans and little hatchbacks and stuff in the 70s to try and save fuel. And they couldn't move because it was too expensive. But I've got a Ute. I'll just move me stuff. I'm going to go buy that beach house. I'm going to sell that beach house. Oh, no, I'm going to buy that little apartment over there from my kid. I'll be easy to move, won't it?
What's the tax that they make you pay as well? Stamp duty.
Stamp duty.
So stamp duty back in the day used to be paying for the ink of going, I own this plot of land, they'd get a stamp and go, stamp.
Correct.
And then now, because you go, the CGT is only applicable on investments, but if you then, this person goes, I'm going to buy the beach house. And a beach house now in Sydney, how much does a beach house cost in Sydney? $5 million?
Millions.
$5 million?
Yeah.
Then when you buy that, they're going to charge you stamp duty, which is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And the government said to the manufacturers, oh, hey guys, because they're on the phone back then or in bloody Telegraph or something. Hey boys, how about some tax breaks on those utes? That'll get some stuff happening. And they watch the tax. They lose a bit of tax from the ute sales and they go with everything else, which is worth way more. And people go, oh, it's the capital gains tax that costs. No, mate, it's the ute. It's all about the ute. Anyway, there you go.
I'm giving you a clap this week,
You
Martin.
learned something.
That was
What are we
very
doing
good.
next?
Well
We're
done.
doing some mailbag. No, we're doing some
doing
meat bag.
Come. How dare you, bro?
Oh, I
First
forgot
you
that
sell
silly
me
one.
for $10.
I didn't.
On the street.
Well, I didn't. It was a 22B and you were going to also destroy every other 22B, which cost you a lot of money.
And next minute, I don't even get to do Fank of the Week.
No, let's do Fank of the Week.
Fanking is the
Delightful art of
of
imitating.
recontextualizing. Can you just say the word delightful?
Yep.
Yeah. Fanking is the
Delightful.
art of recontextualizing a product's name by taking a photo of it down near yo.
Crotch.
And this week we've got some absolute rip dang
Always.
danglers.
Yep.
Let's just get straight into it, Martin. Let's
I'm
not
keen.
mess around. Straight in for the treat and tug.
Cool.
you
Doesn't look
go.
happy. Like he looks pretty stoked.
Looks pretty stoked with that. Jumbo balls. Now they actually
Double
look pretty
Fank.
good, and I like that it's two of the products the
they're
same,
peanut.
and one's called Jumbo and one's called balls, and I would like to eat those balls.
Yeah, I want the jumbo ones.
So if you can find Jumbo balls in your town,
Lauren's jumbo
bring them
balls.
over here, and I'll put them in my mouth.
Okay.
Martin, that's a noodle, long and soft. I like the shirt.
I love this shit.
And the shirt actually is part of the reason this made it through. So to you, sir, I assume you're a sir, well done. All right, my organ. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Up here, Martin, pop a bean.
Oh, what? Why?
What is? It's a jelly bean. No, because it's in a jar.
Right,
And you
okay.
pop the lid
Pop
off
it,
it,
yeah.
and inside there's beans.
And then you get it and you go, "Pwee."
Over here, Martin, Mr. Creamy.
Yep.
Now, I feel like Mr. Creamy is basically an Oreo from Temu. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going on there.
Is that what that actually is?
Well, I don't know, but it
oh,
looks
it's
like...
not an Oreo. It's not a Mr. Creamy Oreo.
I don't think so. I think it's a Mr. Oreo.
I mean, imagine going to work that day and we're like, hey guys, we're just going to basically make an Oreo.
Yeah.
But we'd like to call it Oreo and we have to just change it enough so Oreo don't get upset.
Yeah.
But let's do that. And everyone goes, all right, good
But
idea.
also you
and
could
then
go
they
to
sell
work-
billions of dollars worth of them.
Could I have a tea and an Oreo? And it comes on a plate, and then you go, can I have a tea and a Mr. Creamy?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, Martin. Oh, God. All right. It's the lips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw.
Okay. 1 inch thick, Martin. Now, is it though? Is that bread 1 inch thick? Because from my eyeballs, each piece looks
no
thinner
way.
than that, but that's not 1 inch. 1 inch is 25 millimetres.
25.1 or something. Isn't it?
And there's no way that that's 25 millimetres, is
No,
it?
they're
So
off
don't
they're
lie
off their
about
shops.
how thick it is.
The girth.
All right, next up, Martin. Champion PP. Well done.
Love the slippers too.
Well done to you, dear lady. I say dear lady, I'm assuming so, but dear person, well done. Martin, it's time for Fank of the Week. Well done. Good job. That's very, very good. It's very, very good. Martin, what kind of bass do you play?
An Ibanez ATK. I've got a 300 and a 305.
Why do you have two?
Because I had a 300 and my grandfather bought it for me when I was in high school, which was
what a
awesome. One of
legend.
the best memories ever. I remember this bass. I was like, this is so good. And he got it for me. I was like, you're the best. Anyway, then I was in the Bass Player, which was a bass guitar shop on Parramatta Road in Camperdown. And I was a massive Frenzal Rom fan. People that have known about this for a long time will be like, yeah, Frenzal Rom. They're absolute bunch of legends. Best dudes. Met them at the airport recently. Go to all their shows, well, whenever I can. Anyway, I was at the Bass Player and I walked in and the bass player from Frenzal Rom was like working there. Like as
Really?
his side gig, like
That's
whatever.
so
And I was
cool.
just like, holy shit, it's the dude from Frenzal Rom. Not different bass player now anyway. And I was like, hey bro. And I had my Ibanez 300, my 4-string there. And I was like, oh, I need it to get set up. I was like literally a teenager. I could have been like 17. And I go, oh, yes. He goes, oh, can I have a go? And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
He's like, bah, rah. And I was like, whoa, this is sick. And then he goes, oh, we've got a 5-string version of that. I'm like, you what, mate? He goes, we've got a 5-string version up there, but it was really expensive. But I also had like a bass cab that I needed to downgrade, get a smaller one because I was doing more different kind of gigs. And I said, oh, I've got this bass cab. He goes, oh man, we'll put that on consignment and sell it and I'll swap you for the bass.
Oh, so you
I've-
walked out with a new
and I
bass?
still have, yeah.
That's
and I
good.
got rid of the bass thing, and then I bought another cabinet. It just worked out mad, and it's a very, very fond memory. So yeah, I've got the 4-string and 5-string, and it's one of those possessions I will never, ever get rid of.
Similar thing probably must have happened to you when Keith Urban came to visit, and he walked up into the recording studio, and the banjo was up there.
Oh, the banjo, yeah.
And he just picked it up immediately. He was like
cranking
that,
on
just fully ripping on it.
He didn't even say
and were
anything,
you
he
just
walked up and
going?
saw it.
Were you just like Keith Urban's at Mighty Car Mods,
Yeah.
ripping up some hectic riffs
Yeah.
on our little banjo?
Yeah. And like one of the most, popular country artist dudes to play that sort of thing. You hear it all the time. Some of his biggest songs is using those things.
And he gave us some plectrums.
Yeah, still got them. Got the
His
picks.
own plectrums, which
cool.
is pretty cool.
And he's got a concert coming up in August. If you're in Sydney, you should go see it.
My grandfather helped me buy my first synthesizer. It was a Yamaha workstation. So back then you didn't have a laptop. You had to do all the sequencing on a tiny little screen using little dots, 127 characters because it was general MIDI. So you could put in some notes and then you choose how loud they are.
And also being able to walk up to something that looks like a piano and go dong, but then go, and it goes, what?
Yes,
That's a big
and
deal.
back then it was all flute
that seems
noises.
easy now because your iPhone will do it, but actually back then that was hard.
And it was standardised because there was this thing called General MIDI which standardised what all the instruments were. So all the different manufacturers, if you go to number 50, it was strings. Can you have a quick look just to see if I can remember that from the 90s?
General
So
MIDI.
I think if there's 127 different General MIDI instruments. So
They're
you
called
start
voices,
off
weren't they? General MIDI
voices. And so you start off on number 1 and you've got a piano, then an electric piano, then an EP, and then it goes through. Then you've got all of your different orchestral instruments. And I bought a book back at the time which was how to make General MIDI instruments sound like an orchestra. And it had all the tips and tricks.
Strings start at 49 and go to 56.
Yeah, nice. What's number 50 though?
String ensemble 2 slower attack than string ensemble 1.
Yeah, so that's the one I would always use because it was like legato. Anyway, my grandfather helped me buy that. Back then, I reckon it would have been early 90s. I reckon I would have been in year 9 or 10 at school. It was $3,500, a huge amount of money. And he said to me though, he says, if you're going to get something like that, you need to protect it. And so you're going to have to save up and get a hard case. So I had this big workstation with a massive, remember they used to be wooden hard cases with the big clips on them and stuff. And I had to go into the city to pick it up from when they used to have physical music stores, and I remember taking it home on the train. I think it weighed 20-something kilos, and I'm just trying to walk along with this thing as a kid, and one of my best memories in life is going out of that shop with that instrument, knowing my grandfather helped me do it, and then I would use that for then years and years afterwards.
Yep, still got it. Pretty cool.
Thank you, grandparents.
Precious
Grandparents
things like
are great.
that. Very generous.
All right, Martin, is that it for today?
We do have a quick random meat bag. Let's do that because we're hungry as.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us for this show. Of course, if you don't have the poster yet, these will be gone in days.
Yeah.
Days. So we don't know exactly when, but they'll be gone in days. Don't pay way too much from some scalper on eBay. Grab one now. Directly goes to support us and the show. Martin,
There's
in
also,
the random
I
meat
have
bag
seen
today,
people say, oh, I hope there's not 10 more posters because I don't have room on my wall. We're not going to do like only the specialist of special cars get that. So only if it's a big hero to us or the world will you see it on a poster.
we imagine it'll be like a couple of times a year, maybe a few times a year, depending on what it is. So you're not going to be seeing a new poster every month is the point. So it is the special ones. Martin, in here we have got something called, I don't quite understand because a Violet Crumble is a bar.
Delicious bar.
And this is a Carmen's bar. That also is Violet Crumble, but then it isn't actually Violet Crumble. It says inspired by.
Well, I bought this the other day. I liked it. It says proudly Australian made and owned. That's good.
That's good.
Like eating Aussie food.
Has 10 grams of protein in it. But back in the day, I don't know if you ever went to the movies and then afterwards you went to the CD shop to get the soundtrack, like I always did, and about 4 or 5 songs were from the movie, and the rest of it were songs inspired by the movie. And it was just random stuff from the catalogue they'd thrown on the CD so they could fill it up enough to make an album. Now, these days, you've probably noticed that there is protein added to pretty much everything. It's gone a little bit overboard. There's protein water, there's protein bars, there's protein chips.
There's protein water. The other day, it was like at the server, I'm like, man, I want to just see what that's about. Because like, protein in water does not sound good.
Yeah.
It was like drinking the most refined sand you can ever imagine.
Oh, was it?
Because it's just suspended. It's just a suspension of protein, probably pea or wheat or whatever, or pig.
It's not. If you look at the back of it, what it says...
Pig?
It says, what it says on there is it says ingredients water, and then the next part says bovine protein.
Yeah, it probably was pig protein, but it's basically like drinking like hydrolyzed small bits of grainy fat
Yeah.
and stuff. And it was like literally one mouthful just see what it was like. I'm like, no, never.
I guess, look, if you need to get it in, like right now, health is definitely the new wealth. There is a huge focus from a lot of brands and companies to get people healthy.
Definitely.
There's some reasons for that are obviously great reasons for you personally. There's other financial reasons. The more people outside, the more shoes you need, the more exercise stuff you need, the more active wear you need, the more dumbbells they can sell you, the more memberships they can sell you to gyms and different things.
At least it sells. We talk about this though. At
Overall,
least,
a good
unlike
thing.
the 90s, although it was still big, fitness was big.
Not like now.
Like you can start an Instagram page and go, I'm like, not that healthy. I'm going to start an Instagram page and I'm going to become a health influencer. And you can.
Yeah.
That's a
Didn't
thing.
you say recently there was a health influencer summit where you can learn to be one? So it's like these are the 5 steps you need.
The snake eating its tail is when the influencer becomes a person who tells other influencers how to influence people to be healthy. Here's your activewear clothing. Here's your supplements. I'll just change the name on it. They're all made by the same people overseas. Like it's pretty wild.
Anyway, there's a huge health focus now, and there is a perception, which is partly true, partly marketing, that we need way more protein than you actually need. There are all sorts of calculators to work out how much you actually need. I think 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight is a thing for people that are active. If you weigh 80 kilos, 120 grams of protein a day, which you should be able to get from most of your normal meals. But if not, you can take supplements, which is great. If you're obviously active, professional athlete, all those things, you might need more depending on your goals, blah, blah, blah. But where that brings us to now, Martin, is one bar inspired by another bar. I call that barception.
Barception. Now, here's the thing. So a Violet Crumble, this is limited edition. So it's basically a protein bar, but it's inspired by Violet Crumble. First and foremost, how I go with it.
So what kind of protein is in it? It's a plant protein blend, which is soy protein, starch, soy, glucose, milk, chocolate, sugar. How much sugar is in here though, Martin?
We'll get to that. It's like a nut bar, with a little bit of chocolate on the top, and it's got like a bit of a honeycomb vibe going on. I actually think it's delicious. Like that's, if you're going to eat a protein bar, it's bloody great.
Is there Violet Crumble in it though? Or it's just, it's inspired by
It's probably just got a bit of the flavour. But what I did just for interest, I looked up this bar, and I also looked up the original Violet Crumble, because a lot of the time when people are talking about what they're eating, they are talking about it in calories or kilojoules. In Australia, we use kilojoules, although calories seems to be more common, I guess, for what reasons, I don't know. But the measurements I have here are kilojoules. Convert it if you feel like it, which is the amount of energy that's in it. So in Australia, on all the nutritional information, they'll go average per 100 grams. So that's a way you can benchmark 100 grams of this versus 100 grams of the original one. So if we do that, the original Violet Crumble has 1,830 kilojoules in it. This has 1,950.
Oh, similar.
So actually, you will have more energy from eating this one. But the interesting one is protein.
Only a little bit, though.
So protein in an original Violet Crumble, 2.4 grams. You'll probably find that's just from maybe the milk that's in the chocolate or something.
Yeah, nothing.
And in this one, 25.8 grams per 100. So a quarter of this is all protein.
Yeah, wow.
Which is pretty crazy. In terms of fats, there's way more saturated fats in this, 22 grams versus 17 in a normal one.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, sorry, I'm incorrect. There's more fat in this, more saturated fat in the original one. Carbohydrates, there's double in the original than there is in this. So it is absolutely skewed towards a health focus where you're trying to, but the calories might be more, but everything else is probably better.
What's interesting on a lot of Australian products now is obviously,
the sugar.
they can be, proudly Australian made and owned, but because of the nature of Australia and how far we are away from everywhere, lots of stuff has to come from overseas. And so a lot of products now will have this little logo on the bottom of it, which basically is a little graph. It's an Australian icon with a little graph, and it shows you where the stuff comes from. It says it is made in Australia, but less than 10% of the ingredients are Australian. So the rest of it is coming from overseas, I gather, where it is cheaper.
Yep.
Anyway, there you go. I don't know what that show was. We were a little bit all over the place. But that's the GTR, that's the whatever. Next up, we've got a couple of different things happening on the channel. Spoiler alert, but to the 38 of you, we met some of the 38 of you last night actually, which was cool. But we decided to actually get out and about in some of our cars. So we've got a number of videos coming up where we're just taking some cars that you know and love, certainly cars that you know and we love, take them on a couple of road trips, going to a couple of different places. There'll be more about that soon, just to get in them. We spent a lot of time working on them. Yeah. We decided to take them away for a few days each.
The opportunity arose, and we went, yes, let's do it.
So that is what's happening. Thank you very much. Last chance for that. Get on
It
it.
is.
There's a link popping down or on there, and there's a
Once
link
they're gone,
down
they're
below.
gone. We don't even have.
We don't have the whole
extras.
collection.
We don't
found
have
out
extras.
recently.
I think we're missing one of them. Anyway, no amount of 22Bs or money, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
But
You're all right.
can you buy me lunch?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
Get this.
All right. See you next week. Bye.